Greetings all. I think we are working. We got sound. Looks like it. I can't hear game sound. What's going on? Why can't I hear game sound? Hello to NJTE, Mesolyptic J, Dave, Randall, Metra 212 Productions, formerly Nits. And that's it. So, I am okay. Funnily enough, I was just watching Hentus, and I had to run away. We are looking at the Long Island Railroad M3 today. Interestingly, it says M3A in the game, but that's not actually right, because if it was the M3A, that would be the other one, which I'm not going to tell you what it is, because it's a quiz question. All right, we're going to start with the hard one. Surprise! Three-man weave. So you get three scenarios with it that run on the Long Island route. You do need to have the Long Island route, although it is available for quick drives. You can put it on pretty much anything. Hello, Lexic Dark. We have Reverse Peak Relics, which is take train 763 from Hempstead to New York Penn against the westbound Evening Rush. Supposing how many runs I've done to New York Penn. Mainline maintenance, take train 7700 as far as Mineola on a cold Feb morning. And three-man weave, which is the one we're going to start right now, which is... we're going to swap out some cars, apparently. This could be good or this could suck. We'll see. I'm not even sure if it's during the day. Maybe I should have checked that. Good fun stuff. NJTE says, fun fact, the LIRR is the oldest contiguous railroad. It still operates on its original charter from the 1870s. I think there's probably some English and Indian railroads around that area, if not earlier. Good afternoon, engineer. We've gotten reports of a failed set of M3 cars. Well, no great surprise there. They're from the 80s at VD Yard. That just sounds uncomfortable. That sounds like something you'd want to go and see a doctor for. We have been tasked with heading there to swap around some of these cars to perform a working six-car train. Please note there is actually a single track running in use between East New York and Brook 2, and that active services have priority over us. Okay. I'm just going to turn this down a little bit for me. Let me know if it's too loud for you. Hello, GTA Sandman. I think I got that right. Okay, let's turn off the red lights on the front and turn on our windscreen wipers because it's New York. It's always bloody raining. There we go. We have white lights. Welcome to the M3. You may notice the shot from this actually came from here. So there we go. Do a screenshot. Why not? All right, next thing we need to do is master key, clunky, and this thing I figured out, the action's pulling it down, but you actually have to push it up. Go figure. I wish I'd figured that out before my tutorial. You don't think it's out yet? The M3 is very much out. You can buy it. Now, let's get this in the reverser into forwards. It is working with Rail Driver. Let's just get this back to max brake and charge up the brakes. Now, you can use the button or you can use the semicolon key. The semicolon key is probably a little bit easier. You can see the white needle going up here. That's our brake pipe pressure. And we're charging up the set up to at least 130, and then your brakes will start to release. Down on the display here, you've got a bunch of switches that... There's wipers ones over here, but most of these don't do anything, unlike the Train Sim World variation, which pretty much everything does something. It's got a nice horn. NJT asks, did they port this from TSW? No, you actually can't port things back and forth. Well, you can take bits of the models, but not much else. Now, the way the speed system works in here is you take the lesser of the speeds that's displayed. So you have three possible speed displays. You've got the HUD, if you're using it. I tend to ignore it most of the time. You've got these, which are your maximum acceptable speed. And because we're in a yard at the moment, we have ATC, but we don't have axis, which is fine. And then we have a track speed. You take the lesser of all of those things. So, let's get out of here. Now, how big's our set? What's that? 4? 3. 3. So how is everybody today? GTA Sandman, I meant for ED to Glasgow route. No, it's not out yet. That will be out on Thursday, I believe. It's coming out on the 26th of January for everybody, even the Aussies. I think this switch stand might be just a tad close. What do you reckon? We're going to eclipse that? Oh yeah, we're going to chop it in half. Oh, that's just getting smashed to pieces. It's ripping all of our underbody equipment off right now. Oh well. It does remind me of an interesting story I read about this actual workshop here. They have internal platforms, steel platforms, and they renovated the workshop, and they didn't actually make the gap big enough, so the first train they drove in there smashed it all to shit. How about that? NJT doesn't think this version seems to be a lot more detailed than the TSW version. I'd actually say this is probably slightly less detailed. The models that they make for Train Sim Classic are as detailed as the models that they make for TSW, but the engine draws them differently, so they end up looking a little different. Here's an amusing fact for you that not many people know, because not many people have ever seen it. TSW can actually render like TSC, but that particular functionality was never released to the public. I am having a good weekend golden ticket. I have been to Brickvention, the Melbourne Lego convention. I was there on Friday and again yesterday. I even won something, which is unusual for me. As we crawl out of the yard here, this is the thing about American railroads. Yards are slow. You need an Australian railroad, where Sam's favourite phrase comes to mind. Grip it and rip it. Paramaro says he's not a huge fan of British routes. He's from the US, but the upcoming ScotRail route for some reason has you interested. That's cool. I didn't really get to beta the ScotRail route, so I couldn't tell you much about it even if I wanted to. I have just recently gotten access to it as an ambassador, so expect some content to come out on Thursday. I'll be streaming it on Thursday night for me. I think it's about 9 PM or something like that for me. Whatever the stream time on the channel says. NJT says, fun fact, the grey stripe you see used to be blue, is the LIRR M3s used to be blue with a black face. I thought only the M7s were black. I've not seen any photos of an M3 with a black face, but I'll take your word for it. The M7s are certainly black. Hey, we can speed up a bit. One thing I did learn about these from an actual driver of them is once you get moving, you don't use the P1, P2 and P3. You just go straight to P4 always. Because it's parallel and the others are all series, and you'll blow shit up if you use the others. No, we're speeding. Never shall we do. GTA Sandman says he means the route detailing itself, more objects are placed down. Yeah, they often are a little bit more in the way of assets in TSC. They're getting there with TSW. It's been a long road. They're still learning things about the game engine, to be honest. Dave Randall says just finished rebuilding his Lego Tower Bridge. That's cool. I'm going to finish my bulldozer. I don't think I'll get it finished today, though, because I have just promised our mate, Mr. Peddleston, that I'll do something else this afternoon. I have to go and help a neighbour with his tree. So we have a not quite green signal up there. Ah, you know, I wasn't in the cab, so guess what happened? Can you guess? I didn't answer the alerter. So we go back to max brake. And we should be able to just go. There we go. I think I'll stay in the cab, because the alerter clearly doesn't sound outside the cab. That's a speed change upwards, so we don't have to acknowledge it. We do have to acknowledge that, though, which is the alerter again. And we've just got a track speed warning down to 40. So I wish they'd make up their mind. Back to 80. Back to 30. Yeah, this system's a little bit funny sometimes. Interestingly, if you watch cab videos of the LIRR, it's actually pretty close to being right. Now, we're not going to be stopping for a really long time, so let's get rid of the HUD. And I'll pop it on every now and again just to check my progress, because I'm going to drive by the machine. Yep. Overspeed and a penalty. Naughty, naughty. That's because it sprung the 20 on me, but I should have realised that because we're coming into Jamaica. There we go. We're all good now. It is a little bit stressful driving this thing, I have to admit. If you know the route and you slow down before you get to the spots, it's fine. And I should have realised it because we're coming into Jamaica. Jamaica is slower. Here we go. Down to 15 now. But we're already there, so that's fine. I probably didn't even need to brake then when I did. And we're going to go straight through Jamaica. And what did Jamaica for breakfast? Pancakes. There's a whole lot of other jokes around Jamaica, but, you know, they're rude. So I can't use them. Golden Ticket asked, did you try out the ScotRail route? How do you like it? I can't tell you. I can tell you that I've played it. I can't tell you anything about it. I'm not allowed to. I would get a spanking. It would be a proper spanking like in Monty Python. A spanking? Oh, please, sir. I'd love a good spanking. I was never here. Honest. So I'll tell you all about what I think on Thursday. When it comes out, I will stream it live as soon as the time arrives and I'm allowed to talk about it. And we shall enjoy it together. So that you can see here we've got 15. I am showing my cursor today, which is good. We've got 15 on here and we've got 20 as a track speed. So the maximum we're allowed to do is the lesser of those speeds, which is 15. And it's a good idea to stay a little bit under that limit, just to cover with surprises. And Golden Ticket's going to check out my Lego video a little later. That was made at the convention. It was just a little teaser, so people who are going on the weekend would know what to expect. Now we're going straight through here, so all these people are going to be sad and disappointed. Especially Mr. Angry here. He's always angry. And walk through wall. A little bit of Harry Potter action going back there. Harry Potter in New York. That'd be a good movie, wouldn't it? Oh, wait, they've done that. Faramir asks, maybe it's because it's from Rivet and you adore their Swiss content. I'm glad you like their Swiss content. I still find the sound on their Swiss content a bit jarring, but I have to admit, having gone and found lots of videos, the train really does sound like a train made up of shopping trolleys being dragged along by a car in a car park. So, it actually does sound like that, so I'll forgive them for it sounding like shit, because it sounds like shit in reality. They have successfully achieved shit. Are we going to run into a train? God, this is going to be close. This is going to be very close. I do believe that we're actually going to hit this train. Well, this is a bit interesting. We are definitely going to clip that M7 if it stays there. That's a little bit interesting. So do I wait for it to go? I do have a green signal. What do I do, chat? Oh, let's just try. It's either going to end really badly, or it's going to be fine. Artful's going, it'll buff out. We'll see. Is it going to miss, or is it going to hit? I reckon it's going to hit. Or it's going to be millimeters in it. That's pretty close. Bang! So you reckon that'll buff out, do you, Artful? Well, we'll just pretend that's not happening, and we'll go back to driving. It was never there. Never happened. Right now it's going as it rips the sides of the carriages off coming down there. It's all good. And if I go back to the chat, NJTE says we're in the neighbourhood of Jamaica, Queens. We are indeed. My grandfather lived in Queens for a while before he moved to Astoria. I still have family in Astoria today. I also have very good friends in Brooklyn and Manhattan. Golden Ticket says you're going to check out the Lego video. Yep, that would be cool. Ferramero says, how rude of the alerter to wake up a driver when he's trying to sleep. That's very true. There is a story about an M2 driver. Now, the M1s and the M2s had this thing called automatic train operation, which basically took the ATC speed and just did that speed. And you could keep your... there you go, we're up to 45 now, but we're only allowed to go to 30. You could leave it in ATO, and you only had to stop the train then in stations. We have another not quite green signal up there. One or two verticals is fully green. So we shall behave ourselves as we converge routes here. Yep. Down to 15 again. But it's not pinging me. It's not yelling at me, which is interesting. And back to 45. Make up your mind, train. Well, we're just going to keep doing 15 for a little while. Luca, hello to you. Artful, hello. Artful says it's the first time he's caught me live since last year. Well, that wasn't that long ago. Next little platform, then we go downhill into the little tunnel down here. What else have we got in here? Threading the Needle from Ferramero. Oof, from GTA Sandman. NJTE, it's just a small scrape. And we're allowed to do 70. Okay, let's fang. And we got some clippage, yes we did. Now I have a racing stripe. Yeah, that's one way to look at it, I guess. I guess I'll be having a meeting with the manager without any tea and biscuits. The Goonies were moving to Astoria. I thought they'd lived there. Might have to go watch it and find out. Luca asks, have you got the Just Trains Class A4s? No. I don't actually think I've got... no, I actually do have some Just Trains stuff, but I don't have that one. Is it good? Do you like it? Should I get it? And NJT says single tracking starts here, so I might have to wait anyhow for a train to pass. We probably will get some hold-ups on this because the length of this timetable would suggest that we aren't getting there particularly quickly. But we do have 8 miles to go. It's not 8 miles of tunnel, fortunately. That would be a tad boring. So how is everyone this weekend? I thought I was working on the real railway yesterday, but I looked at all the rosters and went, I'm not there. So I don't really know why it was in my calendar. And I never got a phone call during the day, so it would suggest that no one expected me to turn up. The LIRR never wanted to have the Atlantic branch, always wanted to sell it to the IRT or the BMT. Those were two other New York railroad companies before the whole lot was incorporated into the MTA. Lucas says from the research he did, he seems that the Just Trains A4 is not on sale anymore. That does happen, unfortunately. Out of the... I think there's about something like 1,700 total DLC for Train Sim Classic, but you can only buy about 1,500 of them. So things do disappear from sale occasionally. And that usually means that some change happened in the game and that DLC has become unreliable, or it doesn't, just flat out doesn't work anymore. Pennsylvania Steam's an example of that. It just up and explodes occasionally. And no one really wanted to fix it, so it just came off sale. I still have it. It kind of works. I do work on a railway, Luca. My day job is in... I drive computers, but my weekend volunteer job is I work on the Puffing Billy Railway. I do a number of different roles there. I'm a steam fireman, and I do track inspections. I drive fire patrols. I do all sorts of things. Artful has been learning dispatch in SimRail. How are you finding it, Artful? Got a few seconds to get down to 40. You have a little while to get down to the speed, and as long as it thinks you're on the braking curve, you're fine. So you start braking and then acknowledge. And then you'll be good. So are you enjoying SimRail, Artful? I haven't actually gone and bought it yet because I've got my hands absolutely full with doing a bunch of other stuff at the moment. So I haven't bothered to shell out and buy the game as yet. Down to 15 we go. It's important to not release the brakes until you get below the speed 2 or you'll get a penalty. Let's just put the HUD back on. I didn't think we'd actually come that far yet, so... I'm curious why it wants us to do 15 in the tunnel. Oh, you know why? There must be a train in front of us. And it stopped at a station. That would be my bet. Whoop, 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 I'm going too fast. Naughty, naughty. You do get a little bit of leeway. If it's 15, you can probably do 16 and you'll get away with it. But not much more, so it's a percentage leeway. NGJTE says the LIRR felt that the Atlantic branch fit better as a subway, so there are provisions on the IRT Eastern Parkway subway line for a connection to the LIRR Atlantic branch. Good to know a bit of history. Thank you, NGTE. Artful finds that SimRail is not too bad. He started easy with a quiet bottom section of the route with 2 single tracks. That's always a good idea. Start with something simple and work your way up. That goes pretty much for all sorts of games. How are you finding the multiplayer? How am I over speed? How am I over speed? I'm doing... Oh, it's because it's red. Well, I'm just a bit of a clown. A little red nose. I was going to say something else, but I'll say clown. I'm trying to be nice. Red signal. Now that went to overspeed and penalty before I could see that signal. That's a bit mean. On the red. So have we actually got more trains in front of us? Centre player. Roustabout 99 is there. It's the interlocking track. We don't have a path past the interlocking track. That's interesting. Does this scenario actually work? There's an interesting question. Oh, there we go. There is a train coming. And it's coming on our track. How delightful. Alright. I did see a... That's why we haven't got a path past it. Because hopefully this train's going to go down there. Otherwise, we're going to have another close scrape. And this one might be a little closer than the other one. You're not an idiot, Luca. It's fine. Artful says, overall is enjoying it. The multiplayer makes all the difference. And luckily everyone is helping everyone out, driving and dispatching. That's good. Good to know there's a bit of a community forming. In Run 8, which has had multiplayer for donkeys, some of the servers, the people are very, very friendly and very, very helpful. And some of the servers are full of bastards, who if you don't do it their exact way, they get very upset with you. That will probably happen on SimRail as well. You'll have friendly servers and bastard servers, and that's okay. NJT says the single tracking starts at East New York on track next to you, who might be slowing down to switch over or waiting. Well, that is what we're doing, in fact. Oh, I've got top chat turned on instead of live chat. I might have missed some of your messages, folks. Artful has now moved on to adjusting points. Yeah, I actually don't run 8 multiplayer very much because it is a bit clicky. Although occasionally when I do it, I shall get out into the main line and drive at 8 mile an hour. Because if someone gives me the shits, I'll give them the shits back. It's nothing like a brake-checking train. David Park says hi. Hi, David Park. GTA Sandman says it plays a lot of sim and roleplay games. People take it too serious. Yeah, there's people who play very seriously and people who play less seriously. I don't actually mind the people who play super seriously, and I don't mind the people that want to play less seriously. It's just that when they mix together, it tends to cause a bit of friction. Come on, train. Where are you? We're waiting here. Imagine how patiently they'd wait in New York. Oh, it's not far away now. It probably... Yeah. That's not actually a station there, so it may have stopped there. Should see it come around the corner in a moment. Alex CSX211 says hi. In fact, Alex CSX21 run Railfan Productions BNSF Train Fan. That's quite a channel name. There's a train we're waiting for. I'm guessing it's an M7 because it's got a black face. Or it might just be dark and it's an M3, who knows. No, it's an M7. We're always waiting for you, M7. Hopefully we'll get the green in a moment. Artful says, have I tried at Train Driver 2? That was the first Polish MP train sim, but mainly Polish players. Language sometimes an issue. We can move. No, I haven't actually tried that one. And NJT said it made a stop at the East New York station. Very cool. And Ferramero, yes, the train was taking its sweet time. I can go full Fang now. Apparently. About the only animated thing in this train is the window. You can open it. Oh, and I think, does the blind move? No, that's another one. We've been told to come down to 60, but we're not even there yet. And there's a sign that says 45, but we're not even there yet. So we've got a bit of everything. These lovely people that we're not stopping. $45 now applies. Hello, people. Bye-bye, people. Lucas says, maybe I can review the Just Train A4s. Perhaps. How much are they, Luca? Actually, you probably can't tell me how much they are in Australia, because Steam being Steam, it'll be a different price here. Unless they're bought only from the Just Trains website, which is quite possible. Despite popular belief, I don't get everything for free from Dovetail. I'd like to, but I don't. NJT says the speed over switches is 15. Yes, when you're diverting. Artful. Just got to watch we're going downhill and then uphill here. NJT says East New York is rated as the worst station in the LIRR, which makes sense given the area. I've never actually been there. TML ruined the World of Subway series as the New York line was so atmospheric in that. I actually like World of Subways 4. Quite like it. I like 1 and 4. I'm not so much of a fan of the Bakerloo or the German ones. I think they got a bit too serious for themselves. The Path still had a bit of frivolity in it in World of Subways 1, but in the Bakerloo and the... is it the U-Bahn? In those ones, they just got a little bit too serious. and it's not the game to be serious because it's not a proper simulator. Whereas number 4, they went back to frivolity, and it's a whole lot more fun because of that. A bit of a look around the New York skyline with all of the project buildings, the housing. I've not actually been to this part of New York. It was actually interesting how I found my grandfather's Astoria apartment. It's a building of that sort of shape, but it's not a project building. And there was a photo taken out of the window by my dad in about 1972. And fortunately I had the negative for it, and I was able to blow it up because down at street level there was a deli. And there was only one of that deli, and that's how I found the building. Artful says there's quite a few subway simulators now with Sim Metro, indeed. Acknowledging down to 40. Sim Metro is actually kind of fun. And there's Metro Simulator. There's another Japanese one too. So it's kind of fun. It's a little bit hard to get into it. Sim and the Japanese one are only in their local language, which is okay. Artful likes all 4 World of 4 subways. Am I really overspeed? I am really overspeed. See, I'm watching chat instead of driving. Let me get away with it. Thank you. And of course all that was happening distracted me from the signal, which fortunately was green. Hello, more people. Bye, more people. Often the same people. There's not many people in TSC. Artful's not sure about the new above subway coming from Aerosoft, the Hamburg U4 line. It's got possibilities, I suppose. It's more of a tram, isn't it, the U4, than a subway. So I suppose it's got some possibilities. It could be interesting. Just watching my signals because I've got a yellow, which may mean I get slowed down in a moment. Or they let me go faster. Make your mind up, game. Ferromero says one of them I watched. Oops, no. And I get slowed down. It's kind of what I was expecting. There we go. It is kind of what I was expecting. I was going to get slowed down, but when I immediately didn't, I was lulled into a false insecurity and went to look at chat. This was a mistake. That's okay. Let's go back and look at chat and make another mistake. Ferramara says one of the ones he watched was believe a CN freight train ran a red and slammed into a passenger train in full notch 8 coming the other way. That unfortunately has happened. I can see this signal up here is yellow, so to be honest with you, I'm going to just keep my speed down in preparation for stopping. So I'm going to disobey the machine and I'm going to go slow, because that's a yellow over red, which I think is an approach from memory. Could have that wrong. But it's certainly not the kind of signal you want to drive full speed at. There we go, look at that. Even the monkey can learn. I'm the monkey, just saying. Now that we're down to 14, and we can crawl along a little bit, here we go. This signal is even more adverse, a red over yellow. So we'll have a red signal shortly. We'll actually have to stop, but let's quickly look at the chat. GTA Sandman says, love for the path to come to TSW, a line that's long enough to be fun, but short enough to have the whole system. Yeah, that's true. It could actually be an interesting one. I suspect we're changing lines here. Looks like those points are set to go left. 5. And then nothing. which means I can actually do 10. No, it really does want me to do 5. Okay. Will be nice, game. Oh, we're going... Oh, that's right, we're going into the yard here. Ironically enough, after that green light goes out, I can do 15. Not able to read chat at the moment, folks. I do actually agree the path would be a good one for TSW. One of my trips to New York, I actually stayed in New Jersey, and I used to jump on the train at New Jersey's Penn each day and come across to New York. Because for whatever reason for that trip, accommodation in New York was ridiculously expensive and I just couldn't afford it. So I stayed in New Jersey and I paid about a quarter of the price that I was going to pay in New York. I think I was staying in New Jersey for something like $48 US a day. And that got me a proper hotel room with breakfast. And in New York, it was going to be about $250 minimum for an absolute flea bag. And the New Jersey hotel was actually quite nice. There was one particular night when it wasn't nice, when it seemed like a really big family was staying on most of the floor in the hotel with me. And they kept having parties in the corridor, and that was a bit shit. Because the hotel didn't do anything about it. Just seeing if it really was 5 then, and yes, it is still 5. We've got manual points in here, so these ones are set for us. I'll be quiet. I want to go fast. We'll behave ourselves, though. I'd be surprised if the trains honked for these crossings when they're doing 5 mile an hour, to be honest. Oh, look, track workers. This is a complex switch. It's actually funny, in our museum we've got switches that are dual gauge, or points that are dual gauge for 2 foot and 2 foot 6. You just look at them and you think, how does that even work? And everybody goes through them really, really slowly, so that means I'm not the only one that's thought, how do they even work? Never turn your back to a train, worker. That's when you get smacked in the head. Where did we go? NJT says we'll soon pass by the Nostrum Avenue station, which was renovated, but not represented in its current state in TSC. This route's a bit old, I guess that's why. What is it, about a year old now, I think? Something like that. Ferrabaro says, long story short, it was not pretty, but it was determined the reason the freight train ran the red because of sleep deprivation in the sea and crew. That does happen. We're probably supposed to stop around here somewhere. Let's put the HUD back on. Let's go all the way to the end, though, just in case our bum's hanging out somewhere. It's nice that the switching lead's actually uphill, though, or at least flat. That's good. And it's a bit silly that they painted the wall behind the dead end black, because you might just drive along going, oh, it's just a tunnel. She'll be right, mate. All good. Alright, that should put us... Yep, that's over the points at the back there. And we'll wait for this thing to tell us what to do. And while we're doing that... Artful says, do you mean Density Go? I have that in PlayStation 4. I'm not actually sure what it's called, but it was entirely in Japanese. There was no other text at all. We will first reverse onto VD Yard Track 7, where we will deposit some of our train. So we're depositing something in VD. Very good. Remember, all switches in VD Yard are manual and must be set correctly prior to movements in the yard. Well, there's a surprise. So we're going to Yard Track 7. Let's grab the map. Let's center us again. So we're sitting here in the lead, and we're going to go back to yard track 7, which is down here. Mostly the points were already set because these ones are set for us. So let's do it. Away we go. Now, what I don't know is in the LIRR, you might know this, NJT, would they just set back, or would they change ends and drive from the back cab? Artful says he plays that game on PS5. He did have to import it on disc from Japan. That's dedication for you. I admire that. Well done, sir. Lucas asks, are you going to do a review on the Just Trains A4s? I need to find out how much they are, because I'll have to buy them. And see if they look interesting, if they come with good scenarios and things like that. So if you've got them, let me know if the scenarios are any good. That would always be helpful. Because I mostly buy TSC content for its scenarios, to be honest. Particularly good ones could be fun. NJT says we're near the Vanderbilt Yard. Yes, we are. Luca, we're in it, in fact. Luca says they came out in 2010. Artful, buy the one from Just Trains when it's on sale. It came out in November, the Hamburg U1 U-Bahn. Crawling into the yard here. I was about to say something then, but I'm not sure if it's been announced, so I'll leave it alone. Ferramaro says New York City is expensive for sure. It can be. It's not always. You can definitely live quite cheaply in New York if you want to. You need to be... I mean, you can get nice places in an Airbnb. In the last one we stayed in someone's basement, but it was actually quite nice. They'd done it up quite nicely. The only complaint I had that it was too hot, because the family loved their house to be super hot. And, well, after you've come back from an entire day of walking around New York City, you really don't want to sleep in a place that's super hot. So we kept opening the windows, and they kept getting mad at us, but that's okay. Metro says his dad's asleep, so no chance of him getting the route unless he gets a Steam key. Fat chance of that, young man. Paramary says, don't be like the last guy and not pull his trade fully in. Yes. We don't want to be that guy. I'm surprised the alerter hasn't gone off yet. Almost down to the end here. So it's probably a good time to start slowing down a little bit. There we go. Now we're going to have to do some coupling, no doubt. Now I don't know if you can do it from the HUD or if you have to go there and press the buttons, but we'll see. These trains don't have a conductor, Metro 212. They are driver-only operation. We're going to uncouple 9886 and 9789. So that should be... actually means we're taking off 4 cars. Because these should have the same number. They do. What's that instruction? 9886 and 9789. But we don't have 9789. Or do we have to shunt some? 9868. Nine 9877, 9776, 9777, 9886, which is the one we need to leave behind. Oh yeah, no, 9789, that's fine. Now, interestingly enough, this is actually wrong, because these 2 cars would actually have the same number. Because they're one set. They can't be separated. Well, that clunked it, apparently. We'll now pull forward into the switching lead. Remember to switch control past the signal at danger. Back to the cab. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. Oh, we're getting away with 7. Good. And we need to talk to our signalman. He doesn't want to do it that way, so we'll have to do it this way. No, we can't. Well, we don't have a signal at danger. Look, it's yellow. No problemo. It's all good. You don't have to ask for permission. I sometimes think when you see pop-ups like that, they're hedging their bets because sometimes the scenario doesn't work and the signal is red. And you have to ask for permission, and sometimes it does work and it's fine. Like this time. Metra says NYOC is definitely overpriced. Well, like I said, it doesn't have to be. If you think New York's bad, Metra, don't ever come to Australia, because New Yorkers are just like Aussies. We talk a lot about see you next Tuesday. Ferramero says, I kind of wish the default scenarios that came with routes would have more adverse signals and things to pay attention to them. That's why I usually download workshop scenarios to play. That's usually why I build them too. And Metro says he wishes gas prices never had a price. Well, everybody wishes that fuel prices did not have a price, indeed. Artful says they need to go to the body shop to be repaired with the altercation of the other unit. I think the whole train probably does. And that's okay. So it's time for our first quiz question, I think. This one has 2 answers, and I'll give 10 points for both answers. Or 10 points for each answer, sorry. And they can go to different people. What rail company runs the M3? I've already given you the answer. I've given you both answers. We will now reverse on to VD Yard Track 2, where again we will be depositing some of our cars. Yay! If the signal protecting VD Track 2 is at danger, please press Control Tabbed. See, that's what I mean. They're hedging their bets. They're not sure if it's going to work. Okay, so we want to go to VD Yard Track 2, so that's that one. Now, interestingly, we can't, because this point is not controlled by us. And we can't go there. Let's just go and have a look. Maybe there is a switch on it. Well, it actually looks like it's lined correctly for where we want to go. That one is not. Now it is, so let's check the map. Alright, now we can go there. Now we can go where we need to go. So that's interesting. You can't change it from the map, but you can change it from the ground. That's just interesting, isn't it? Just move a little bit, and then we'll try and see if we need to ask for a signal. Best to pass signal at danger approved. Now I would have thought that signal was actually for that track there, and that stop sign's for the road, so it's... There actually isn't a signal to worry about here. Going a little bit quick, but we won't let that worry us. Let's get rid of that. Dave Randall says the MTA. Well, actually, you know what? That's the smart answer. So there's actually 3 railroad companies. I'll pay that. So who got that first? Dave Randall said MTA first, but there's actually two more. I'll pay your smart answer. Very good. Think about the sub-names. Think about the names as they were in the 80s. Actually, I think the MTA did exist in the 80s, actually. I could be making that up. Dave Randall gets LIRR. Very good. And Artful says, in the New York Transit Company. I had another one. Ferramaro says, hey, Artful, is the AP signal pack only apply to UK signals, American as well? I have a faint suspicion it's only UK signals, Ferramaro. I know you asked Artful, but I think it's only UK because the American signals follow a significantly different pattern. And from railroad to railroad, they actually follow many significantly different patterns. But I will give some points to Artful because I think I just learnt one that I didn't know, which is fine. But there's one more company that I'm looking for. They don't quite run the M3 itself, but it's the same train. It's a very interesting air brake sound. I have to wonder if it's realistic or not. There we go. Bit of stoppage. Hey, a question for you guys. Have I resolved the thumping sound that was coming through whenever I do things with the mouse? So if I tap on the mouse ball or if I do things on my keyboard, have I resolved the thumping noise that was coming through in videos? We'll now pull forward to the switching lead. Dun, dun, dun. Back to forwards. And away we go. And away we go. No, not Penn Central and Conrail. It's contemporary. They exist now. They'd be a division of MTA, but they exist now. It's in New York. I don't know that Penn Central ever ran Bud cars. Not this kind. No, not the Fifth Avenue Carriage Company, although I'm impressed. Now, do we actually have to ask about a signal? Apparently we do, because the thing's greyed out, so... Crawling through the yard. The first word of the name is an abbreviated version of the first word of MTA. Apparently it stopped raining. And apparently it started raining. So we clunk our way through this yard. Wow, we've got a bit of shunting to do, don't we? I didn't realise there was quite this much shunting to do. That's okay. We'll get out on the line with the next scenario. If this gets boring, let me know. Don't just drop off. Because I can switch to one of the other scenarios if people are getting a little bored of shunting. Because that is rather a lot of shunting. If you'd rather see the train out on the route, we can do that. MVCA? No. Metropolitans? It is Metro. I think they also run the red ones. The mates. The M8s. Run M3s and M8s. And they're looking to buy M9As right now. Come on, NJT, you must know this. Or have you dropped off? That would be possible. Ah, that should be enough for us to recognise that we're here. Gunk. Where are we going next? Yard Track 5. Let's set up for Yard Track 5. Looks like we are set up for Yard Track 5. Very good. So we're going to go back there. What are we getting? We're getting... And a couple... That looks like they're separated, so we actually have to push them together. Now reverse track 5. Remember to stop short of the cars already on the yard track. There is an issue with the signal. Please move forward as normal. You will not require permission. Famous last words. Yay! Dave Randall gets it. Metro North. You are correct. You know what? I'm going to see if we need to ask permission. And we... Oh, denied. Does that mean we're going to spad now? That'd be funny, wouldn't it? Ah, we're not going to spad anyway. It's all good. Well done, Dave Randall. That means while we're waiting, we can go on to our next question, which is... And I will take 2 names for this organisation. Both are worth 10 points each. Who built the M3s and the M3As? You can always tell when it's time to shunt, because it rains. No, Dave Randall, good guess, but no. I actually said who it was a couple of times. I have given one of the names on the stream. Dave in the workshop. Excellent. Hello, Dave. Dave's very clever, making trains all by himself. And Pablo. Ooh, Pablo and Dave. Ferramero goes Bud, gets the first one in. Very good. And we get GT Sandman as well. Now, Bud also had another name. And they did actually build the last order of cars. What am I doing in a bridge? Now let's just stop there. Is that going to stop short or is that going to go clunk? That's going to stop short. Good. Trains in America. Well done, Dave Randall. You're doing well today. Now we're going to couple those. Now, are they actually separated? Because on the map it looks like they're separated, but... No, it doesn't look like they are. It looks like they're coupled. Alright. That's all good. Now connect. Yes, we will. Dun, dun, dun. time for clunkage. Whoever thought of the aligning pins in Schnappenberg couplers watches too many porn movies. Okay, stop at VD yard track 5. We have. Now we need to drop off. I guess they're the back ones. Zoom out a bit. 9863 and 9906. So I think we can just assume that one's 9906. Come on. Hey, look, its windscreen wipers came on. We will now pull forward to the switching lead. Yay! Away we go. And I might have to request permission. I do. You have been approved. Good to know. I'm approved. Shall we go on to our next question? I think so. What is the top allowable speed of the M3 in miles per hour? The top allowable speed. And remember, this isn't California, so it's not ridiculous. It's not 79. Just saying. Why are there people in this train? Did it not have an unload all? In TSC, you never end up inside someone's face like you do in TSW. That's always funny. At least these cars are empty. Look at that beautiful vinyl seating. Absolutely delightful. I couldn't think of anything better to sit on a really hot, humid day in New York. Just couldn't think of anything better. It'd just be so lovely. Dave Randall says design of 100, 80 in service. I'll take the 80, Dave. Well done. But yes, one of the quirks of being certified to run in the United States is that you must do 20% over your top operating speed, which means your design speed is 100. So it must be safe and it must be tested to 100 mile an hour, but it will never actually run at that speed in service. And the reason they do that testing, and they actually do it in most places in the world, but most places don't do 20%, most do 10. The reason they do that is because if a driver makes a mistake and perhaps going downhill accelerates over that speed, they want to make sure the train isn't going to suddenly leap off the tracks and fly into space. Just being a little bit more careful about getting towards the end here because we have a longer train again. You have a sore throat, Artful. That's terrible. Ferramora says there's another gripe I have with this game in TSW is why the passengers from the train obviously isn't in service. Yeah, they're meant to have an unload all on them, but clearly in this scenario they do not. So where are we going next? Yard track 7 again. Signal is still faulty. We will not require permission. Alright, yard track 7, and we appear to be correctly set for yard track 7, so that much is working. Back we go. I'm still going to ask. Denied. We're going to go through it anyway. I have been getting over a cold that I've had for coming on 3 weeks now. And I still have a little bit of a tickly throat, but it's not sore anymore. And I have stopped emitting large amounts of snot. Did you need to know that? Probably not. Artful had pneumonia last weekend, and that wasn't nice at all. I imagine it was not. I'm glad you've come through it, mate. I usually go a tea with fresh lemon and honey, personally. For that sort of thing. I'm a little bit biased, though, because we've got our own beehive. Not that I'd go out there and collect it personally just because I want it in a cup of tea, because the bees do get just a little bit sad and annoyed when you steal their food. They get just a little tiny bit grumpy. And it's a good idea to wear an appropriate suit. Yes, tickly coughs are bad, particularly when you're going out in public and the doctor has said, no, it's fine, you're not infectious anymore. But you know how people react now when you cough? It's like every head turns to look at you. Because everybody is really paranoid now. How many more shunting moves have we got? A few. We never leave this yard, you know that? Isn't that funny? Lexic Dark will love you, Artful. He's... Actually, I haven't heard him say it for a long time, but he used to forever go on about acidity in foods. In case you're a lot of wondering, Lexic Dark and I know each other outside of streaming. We will now add them to our train. Very good. Back we go. But very slowly. Because I know these trains do not react well to being coupled at anything beyond a very slow speed. Keeping bees is good. We've got flow hives now, so the bottom story of the hive has the food for the bees, and the upper story has the honey for us. And you basically plug in a tap and turn it, and honey comes out. It's quite cool. No more spinning. It basically means no one's garage gets covered in sticky stuff anymore, like it used to. It's 2 ways of getting a house entirely sticky. Have someone under the age of 5 living there, and have a bee spinner. So it doesn't matter where you go, you get sticky. Alright, so we're going to drop 9988. Okay, so we're dropping these ones off here. So you want to uncouple here, I think. 1789, 9865, 9888, 9886. Yep, we're uncoupling here. Dunk. Back we go again. Woohoo! More shunting, yay! I love shunting. Now pull forward to the switching lead. Request permission. Let's go. Your request to SPAD has been approved. Flow hives are a little bit expensive, but the lack of all of the other things that you have to do makes them very worthwhile. You know, I'm tipping this guy did something wrong before this shift, and they've gone, right, you can go out to the yard. What you want me to do is collect all of the carriages in the yard. We want you to join them all together And we want you to move them all from this track to this track to this track to this track. And then we want you to put them all back where they were. It's like one of those jobs you give an apprentice when you've got nothing for them to do. Can you just dig a hole over there, mate? 1 metre by 1 metre by 1 metre. And when he finishes it, you go, okay, dig a hole next to it 1 metre by 1 metre by 1 metre and use the dirt from that to fill the first one. This is what this job feels like. The flow hives aren't quite as simple as they make out on the ads. They do gum up, and you sometimes have to take them out and clean them. It's taken the bees a while to get used to them too. They were busily populating their part of the hive and ignoring our part of the hive, which was annoying. A little bit. We've got 2 cars, we should be able to stop here safely enough. You can stop now. There we go. Where are we going next? Yard track 3. Map. Yard track 3, so we want to set that one. And the other one will be set for us. In fact, it already is. So when it tells us to, we shall go back. I have found, if you're wondering why I start moving before I request, is I have found the game works better when you're already moving before you request what you want, because it knows for sure what direction you're going. Yes, you do need to make sure the flow hive is level. That is kind of important. In fact, normal hives have to be quite level too, or the bees get shitty. And they won't make any honey. I haven't seen a video of an apprentice catching welding sparks. Yeah, that would be funny. Having to keep the place clean. Mr. Coaster Coaster says his basement is sort of like a beehive with thousands of peasants doomed to serve me. That's kind of funny. I'll say it's kind of funny now, but in 20 years' time we'll discover that Mr. Coaster Coaster is in fact a massive serial killer who took slaves and kept them. And it won't be so funny. And you'll think, wow, I met that guy. If you look up Australian media and Google the Silver Gun Rapist, you'll discover that he was shot and killed in a primary school. In the late 1970s. That was my primary school. I think Americans call it junior school. Something like that. So next question, I think, would be a good idea while we're slowly cruising through. How is the M3 powered? And I will accept how the power gets to the train. I'll accept its voltage. I'll accept the type of electricity. I won't give multiple points for the different ones, but I'll accept any of those because it's a little bit of a vague question. It did take a dark turn for America. It's like World of Subways 4. Playing a train game and suddenly you're stalking a serial killer underground. Well, actually, he's stalking you. Preschool, kindergarten and grade school. That's it. Couple up. Do you, 9847, take 9877 to be your lawfully wedded train, now and forever, or at least as long as this shunting lasts? Blunk. We will now pull forwards. Yay. You have been approved. Unnecessary violence in the apprehension of the Blues Brothers has been approved. There's an 80s reference for you, since we're driving an 80s train. I will pay DC camshaft, I will pay third rail shoe, I will pay third rail on top and not underneath, and I will pay 750 volts, although I think it's actually 600. But that's, no, 700. But that's okay, I will pay all of those. So, Dave Randall gets 10. Artful gets 10. GT... Whoops, not moving. Oh, alerter. It finally went off. Look at that. Finally happened. Yeah, how long have we been here and it hasn't gone off? GTA Sandman gets 10. Mr. Coaster Coaster gets 10. And Artful says, am I wearing my sunglasses? Hang on. Hang on. Yes. Hello, British Ace. How are you? Do you know, I can't actually see the game with them on. Mr. Coaster Coaster says automatic couplers only exist because conductors and yardmen are lazy. I actually think that automatic couplers exist because the other forms of coupling are just downright dangerous and man-killers, personally. British Ace is also known as Joe, and is a fellow ambassador and a streamer from the UK. If you haven't jumped into his streams, I certainly suggest you do, because he tends to know the UK routes and the UK trains incredibly well and gives a wealth of detailed information as the driving. I did make the Blues Brothers reference, Artful, you're right. It's a pity it's not Friday. Normally it should be Friday for a Blues Brothers reference. And British Ace, we're doing some incredibly boring shunting of the M3. Even I'm starting to find it boring, but people are still watching and we are almost finished, so we're going to finish it. For our next quiz question, we should probably ask that while I slowly crawl up towards the buffers here. And I've given you enough hints. Why is the M3 sometimes described as married? Hopefully that's far enough. Looks it. VD Yard Track 2. Is that the one we struggled to get to before? 2. We missed another train. Yard Track 2 and collect them. Once again, you need to request permission. And once again, we'll do it the usual way, but I'll have to do it quicker. Approved. I had to do it quicker because we're quite close to it. Dave Randall says it comes in 2 car sets. British Ace says yes, very familiar with the 5 mile an hour at Atlantic Terminal. It is kind of exciting, isn't it? 5 miles an hour, can you imagine? People must have been frightened about going so fast. But that's okay. 2 car sets is correct, but it's not quite enough. And Mr. Coaster Coaster, MU, EMU, yes. It's almost enough, but it's not quite enough. You need to extend that a little bit. They're like magpies. They're like platypus. They're like some species of duck. British Ace is looking at getting SimRail, not for the driving, but for the signalling. We do have someone who's been playing Simrail in the chat, which I think, was it Artful? I think it was Artful. I'm just scrolling back to see. Scrolling back, scrolling back, scrolling back. We talked a lot today, didn't we? So I've had trouble keeping up with it. Where are we? I think it was Artful that said he was doing Simrail signaling, but I can't actually find it. Dave Randall, yes, they are mated for life. They cannot be decoupled. Well done. Another 10 to Mr. Randall. This is our last shunting move, and then we'll go and drive a proper train. So Artful's probably a good person to talk to, Joe, about Simrail dispatching. It actually looks kind of interesting. If I had the time, I'd be doing it. But I have a lot to do at the moment. Alright, let's just stop him there. Do both of you play SimSig as well? Let's couple up. Hello, Richardson Antoine. Does the year the train simulator matter? Planning on purchasing the game for practice? Well, there's Train Simulator Classic, which is the current version that came out last year. There are many, many other versions of it. I have a faint suspicion if you succeed in buying excuse me, if you succeed in buying an old version of it, it'll probably install Train Simulator Classic anyway. They do turn up occasionally on things like Humble Bundle. You get things like TS 2014 and things like that turn up. Joe, do you know, do they just upgrade? I kind of think they do. I'm not 100% certain about that. Mr. Coaster Coaster, no, EMUs aren't coupled forever. They can be pulled apart normally, but these ones can't. They're actually an A unit and a B unit, which is why I said the numbering's wrong. Because they do not actually have different numbers. Both units have the same number. Artful says he couldn't get his head around SimSig. I've struggled with it. That suggests that we should request a pass signal at danger approved. And it's gone yellow, so that's magnificent. All good. And British Ace says TS just upgrades for free. That's kind of what I thought. That if it doesn't really matter which one you buy, it just works its way through the versions. Yep, and if you want any new DLC, yes, you do have to buy it. So often each year when a new version of TS Classic comes out, or as it used to be called, Railworks and Rail Simulator and Train Simulator and everything else that it's been called, each year when the version comes out, there's always a bunch of routes that come with it. Artful suggests reviewing Mr. Schnauzerpauser, who's done a good basic tutorial on dispatching. Mr. Schnauzerpauser absolutely loves DTG. He thinks DTG is the best organisation on the face of the planet, and they can't possibly do anything wrong. That is sarcasm. Just a little bit. But yes, I agree. He's actually done some good stuff on SimSig and Simrail. clear the points in the back now. Do you know, I have to wonder if this train's actually going to fit. It's rather a long train. It's more cars than we came in with. Now we need TSW3 to reverse its name to TSW. Train Sim World Classic! That might happen when TSW4 comes out. And no, I'm not announcing anything. It's not happening. Last time I made a joke like that, someone told Matt Peddleston and he got mad at me. Because I made a joke about TSW3. And funnily enough, it was about 24 hours later that JD actually leaked that TSW3 was a thing. And I got in trouble. We can now leave VD Yard and begin our journey eastwards to Hillside Yard. We will be pausing at VD Yard East for further instructions. I don't think we're actually going anywhere after that. That's okay. So, let's do it properly though. Even though we're... Oops, you know what I didn't do? That's alright, it's already turned the wipers off for me anyway. Nope, we're at the wrong one. Wipers are going. Turn off wiper. And better put the marker lights back on too, hadn't I? All these things I'm doing, and I know we're not actually going to get to drive this train. Wiper. Marker lights off. Joe, if you haven't driven this thing yet... Oh, master key. The action to pull this down, you have to push up. It's a bit silly. Let's get back to max brake, not emergency. Max brake. Come on. Come on. There we go. Charged up enough? No. And Metro is really happy because his dad's awake and he's gone off to ask him for cash. Poor dad. Can't ask a signaller for anything, so it's all good. British Ace hoping the summer update changes it simply to Train Sim World. That would be easier. Then I wouldn't have to rename my playlist. Be interesting to see if what the summer update brings us this year. I haven't really heard anything about it. And British Ace says that TSW 2020, TSW 2, TSW 3 confuses a few folks. Well, don't forget the special editions like Heavy Haul as well. And there was another one too, wasn't there? There was one about rail journeys or something. I think it was only released in the UK. Great Rail Journeys, I think it was called. And Ferromero goes, maybe they'll call it Train Sim World 4 Classic Deluxe Edition. It could. British Ace says, not just yet. Looked at a work in progress West Coastway today instead. Probably tomorrow. Artful says we need DTG to allow routes to talk to other routes. Then you could drive from London to Brighton, change trains and go from Eastbourne to East Coastway. That actually would be kind of cool. Am I going to the right place? Oh yeah. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I should be going up that ramp. I hope there's no signal behind me. No. TSW Australia Starter Pack. Now there's a good idea. Mr. Coast to Coast is saying Train Simulator 4 Classic Deluxe Ultimate Edition Locomotive Rail Driver Simulator. Well, you could do that. Great Railway Journeys was for TSC, not TSW. I thought there was a TSW version as well. I could be entirely wrong on that, and fully happy to accept that I'm entirely wrong on that. Alright, that'll do you there. You can stop now. Go and change those points, if I can. Forwards. And away we go. Up the hill. We've mucked around so much that we don't have a maximum speed, even though ATC is green. It would be nice to get an Australia pack one day. I did make representations to get the line that I live on, which is the Frankston line. Because you get electric services, you get steel services, you get the occasional container freight, there's EMU, DMU. I think we'll leave that message hidden, Mr. Coaster Coaster. Artful suggests I might be thinking of the DLC for Great Western Express that added the old timetable. That was Diesel Legends. Did that ever release as a game by itself? British Ace says third party would be the only way to see Down Under. Yeah, I keep trying to convince Stefan from Train Sim New Zealand. Or New Zealand Train Sim. I keep forgetting which way round that is. I think it changed at some point. But he needs to get into TSW3 and he needs to start building routes. Because that would be cool. Deliberately not going fast because we're heading towards a red signal and that's where the scenario will end anyway. I could just stop here, but I'm a pedantic bastard. I like going to the end. British Ace suggests it was too far for DTG to go for field trips. Yeah, but they could send us out. I actually think that Melbourne's train system may not have enough variety for DTG, but we'd see. Yeah, there's a lot of devs in trains with the Z in New Zealand. Great work, engineer! Woohoo! We are now waiting for a short while on our road. Final destination reached. Alright, now we'll drive it properly. Promise. M3A, mainline maintenance. Reverse peak relics. Which one should we do, chat? Which one should we do? Starter's been on cover and construction works. We'll do this one. We're going against the rush, so it should be a quick run then. Let's do this one. Stefan did take 6 years to do the New Zealand route, and he's still going. Evening engineers, today will be taking this early evening service from here at Hempstead against the evening rush into Penn Station. So everybody else is coming out and we're going in. Fair enough. Please set up your train and allow passengers to board. Side cessation on. And where are they boarding from? Oh, there. Okay. Master key. Let's get the master controller down. Get it back into max brake. Got to be careful you don't go into emergency. Charging some more. Charging. I like in Train Sim World how you can press the button and move your mouse so your visual goes up so you can see the gauge. You can't do that in Train Sim Classic. And forwards. Now we just wait for all the people to get in. Let's go look at the people getting in. We've got a passenger view in this thing? It does. It is very 80s. Composite fiberglass. And hello. She looks a bit grumpy. Like she's going to punch someone. She's got a big fist going on. How you doing? Having fun? Yeah? He's pretty relaxed. Like a floppy person. It's like one of those cats. What are they called? Ragdolls. And then we have Mr. Happy over here. How you doing? Having fun? Ready to go into the city? Seems fair. Time to go yet? It's nearly time to go. Let's ask our next question before we're moving and I have to concentrate on signals and stuff. The M3 has 3 safety systems. Can you name them? 3 in current use. It actually has 4, but 3 in current use. Where do we go? Have to behave because we've only got 15 mile an hour clearance. Check and make sure there's no one else coming outside. No. Probably mean Axis there, eh? Say venerable, yes. PTC Axis ATC? No, not quite. Ah, there we go. Ferromero, Alerter, Axis, and ATS. So Ferromero gets the complete answer. Did I have 10 points on each of those? I did. And Dave did get ACS first, so we'll give Dave some points. And GT Sandman had 2 of them right, so it gets points as well. And Artful says coloured lights to say if the doors are opened or closed. I don't know, does it actually have them? I don't think it does. Oh well, we're meant to be doing 30. Let's get out of here. As we make our way to Country Life Press, I will keep the HUD on this time. Look, the HUD says I should be doing 10. HUD's silly. We're going to do 30. Naughty HUD. It didn't care that I was doing 17 mile an hour though. This feels fast compared to what we were doing. Welcome to Country Life Press. I assume that's a company. This is a company stop. Yep, the ACS... Well, actually, most modern American trains have these systems. And they're the same ones. I expect that the new American trains will have the same thing too. Fairly long train, so I'm going all the way to the end. I didn't actually count our cars, but I suspect we're a 10 set. So we're going to go right to the end of the platform. Are we in at the back? We are in at the back, and we are a full train. Excellent. He's got his coffee. He's happy. Cruising along. We're going to stop this long at every station. T-Rail Valley has had a bit of new content lately, hasn't it? What? I heard them close. Didn't I hear the buzzer go off? Sad now. Oh well. Just do it again. That's a bit crap. Right then. Let's do that again and try not to stuff it up this time. Come on. There we go. Max, it just synced to the rail driver then, which was already in driving. I never quite got into Derail Valley. I do actually have it, but I don't really play it. I've got quite a few train games that fall into that kind of category. So while we're waiting, since I stuffed that up, what is the difference, or the main intention of difference, between Axis and ATC or ATS, depending on what you call it? This train actually calls it both. Just amusingly. Each of them has a primary purpose of what they're for. They're both for safety, so ignore that one. They both tell the driver different things. Frozen? Oh, there we go. I look kind of frozen on stream, but I'm not sure. Is it working or not? Still says it's an excellent connection. I'm not sure. Let me know. Hopefully it's working okay. Might reload this tab. So the door's definitely shut this time. Yes, they are. Let's go. I'm going to look every time now. One of them's in-cab signalling, yes, but which one? And the other one's line speed and max permitted speed. Not quite. Rail driver's getting a bit laggy. But moving it, not much happens. I think my computer could be about to catch fire. Things are feeling sad. So if I disappear suddenly, you'll know what happened. I'll give Artful points for the in-cab signalling. So ATC basically gives you the safe speed that you can run based on the signals and the block occupancy ahead of you. So it's a combination, so that you don't run into another train. I'm ignoring the HUD saying 10. I don't care. As we head once again for a Country Life press. No, I think you made that up, Artful. It's the Advanced Civil Enforcement System. Axis. A lot of people call it ACES, but it's actually called Axis. I actually think ACES sounds better personally, but it really is called Axis. I read through a book that actually tells you how it really works behind the scenes, and I have to say it's quite interesting the way it works. Alright, now let's try not to screw this up again. I do like the squeaky brakes as you come to a stop. Now we're going to watch and make sure the doors actually close, so we don't get that wrong again. So since no one's got what access is actually for, it enforces your civil limits. So they're limits for things like bridges and curves and single track. You can get temporary restrictions in there because of works or rough track. And you're all going to have to learn access in ATC because there is an Acela coming. Back to Boston we'll go soon. And knowing me, I'll run the Acela on Horseshoe Curve as well, just because I can. It's doing Horseshoe Curve at 165 kilometres an hour, or miles an hour, sorry. See, I listened to the buzzer before, and the buzzers, I thought that meant the doors were shut, but clearly not. Just in case. Every station I'm going to do that. I've got a 15-mile limit coming up. Let's just drop down to 15 now in preparation for that. It's a tight little corner, this one. LIRR off to Garden City. Join the other line here. Are Acelas still running today? Yes, they are. They are being replaced, but they're still running at the moment. The laughable sign back there that said 50. But I think not. We are now allowed to go to 30. Brilliant. Away we go. It's been a while since I've driven this line, you know. One thing I do know is that the LIRR, look at that bus stuck in a boom gate. Naughty bus. I do know the LIRR don't use the 4 whistle code, which will annoy Mr. Metro 212 no end, but I think he's dropped off. Press gentle brake as we come up here. Welcome to Garden City, and we are indeed in a tree. Ladies and gentlemen, this train is stopping bloody everywhere. Next stop, Nassau Boulevard. Actually, it's Nassau, isn't it? The 4 whistle code artful is the long, long, short, long, so it's like this. What most American railroads use coming up to crossings. The LIRR do not. They just go honk. In fact, everybody in MTA just goes honk. Like Aussies. This is like the best you get at a crossing here. That's about it. Not getting more than that. You're lucky if you even get that. Doors are closed. Let's go. Actually, that's interesting because I heard the buzzer going off for the back doors. Maybe we should look at the back. But we're going to save every station just in case. Nassau Boulevard, next stop. Mind you should announce it like a proper New York train.
All right, next stop. Thank you for riding MD8.
I didn't know the UK had a whistle code at all, Artful. For crossings, I mean. Whistle sign. So what do people think the new version of Train Simulator is going to bring us? What are your greatest desires? I would like to see less anti-aliasing artifacts, so things like these flickery trees I would love to not be happening. I would like to see a modern upgrade to DX, so instead of running DX9, get onto something newer. And I'd love to see it take advantage of modern graphics cards. Now we're going to go down to the back this time. The doors. Oh no, we're not quite in the platform in the back here. What happened there? Oh, I needed to go right to the end completely. Oh well. In fact, we've locked the crossing too. All those people will be so sad waiting for the crossing to open. But that's okay. New York and Texas Railroad says it would be nice if DTG could obtain the license to New York and Atlantic Railroad. Just in case. Next stop is Stewart Manor. Reading, yes, that would be good. Different threading for different tasks. Because it does make a modern processor work, but it rarely gets over about 30% or so. Be nice if it used more of it. Not all of it, because I need some of it for streaming, but more of it. Just looking at the time, there's no need to be in any kind of hurry to get into Stewart Manor. Because we're early. There's a thread on the DTG forums. There's one in Train Simulator Classic and there's one in Train Sim World for suggesting new routes. So you basically go in there and make a case for why your route's cool, and you offer as much reference material as you can. Photos, write a bit of a story about why you think it would be a good one to develop and why you think it would be sell. Metra wants New York and Atlantic. Actually, you want to see it, as well as Wisconsin and Southern, and the Arizona and Easterners. They have -9s. Oh, I think we need some more electric routes. You, Metra? Surely. Let's get right to the end this time. There you go. Doesn't get much closer than that. Down the back we go. Did we open the back doors this time? No! Oh, come on. That's in the platform. How much further forward could I have gone? About 2 feet. Alright, next stop. Next stop. Metra says electrics will make him vomit. Excellent. You know you're not going to have diesels much longer. An Artful suggests it could be called Train Simulator Classic 2. I guess it could. Train Simulator Classic Advanced? Oops, I forgot. They don't honk when they leave platforms here.
Next up, Borough Park.
Have a new colour for the logo. Ooh, yes. British Ace would like to see me on the buses, OMSI or the bus. I'd probably have to get a wheel. Drive buses. I tried driving one with a rail driver once, that didn't go well. The forward and backward movement of the rail driver doesn't translate very well to movements of a bus. Why are you yelling at me, train? Oh, it's because I'm only allowed to do 30. That's why. Artful would like to see a Back to the Future 3 DLC for Train Simulator Classic with railworthy DeLorean, as the train is already a third-party add-on. Hill Valley, 1885. That would actually be fun, you know. I could see people be interested in that. Not sure about getting the licensing. That might be a little bit out of DTG's league, but it would be fun. Quiet, you. Artful says it's even worse trying to drive OMSI with a keyboard and mouse. Mouse steering isn't too bad. I've got these different speed limits, so I'm not allowed to do any of them. If you start driving this thing, you really have to hold the alerter button for quite a while. Frame rates being a bit sad. Artful says the licensing isn't too bad. He's got a friend making Back to the Future VR experience. That's cool. Let's see how we go this time, because now I reckon I'm a bit past it in the front. Will the front doors open? No, now the front doors don't open. Did the back ones open? Yes, so they got their chance. They can get out. Excellent. We should do a question while we're stopped, shouldn't we? The M3s were removed from service on the LIRR in 2018 for scrapping. What happened next and why? There's potentially quite a few points in this. That's where I went wrong before, because I heard the buzzer and I went, it's okay to go, but the back doors hadn't closed yet. Oh, why am I still hearing doors opening and closing? Oh well. Save. And get out of here. Still only allowed to do 30 though. Now we're allowed to do 70. Let's rock. Except we're only going half a mile, so I don't think we'll get to 70 somehow. Metra said someone on Discord... Oh, that's not really something I want to talk about. People whinging about each other. GTA Sandman brought them back into service for East Side access. Artful says brought them back in as replacements were too expensive. New York Texas Railroad says delivery of the M9 was delayed. Dave Randall says delayed in the M9. New York Texas Railroad, you have the most correct answer. So you get the points, sir. And I should probably stop. Just saying. New York says that the M9s are still having teething problems. Let's see how this one went. Other side. And we got front doors open. Did we get back doors open? Nah. These is touchy. Oh, there's the answer. Look, down there. $750. So whoever it was that said 750 is correct. The little lights do light up there. Tells you the door's open. It's good. Are there any little yellow lights on? No, so it must be time to go. Save. And away we go. 70 mile an hour. Seems every railway that gets new stock does have their share of teething problems. We've just been told we're allowed to do 80, but we can't because we're still only limited to 70 by ATC. The M3s are already being rebuilt, Metro. Metro North aren't building them though, they're trying to get the M9s. Only LIRR are rebuilding them. I should stop keeping the question sheet on top of my acknowledge button. Okay, I give up. Why am I over speed? Oh, because it's 30. What a dummy. I've just gotten through explaining to everybody how this works. And then I ignore it myself. Queen's Village Track 3 coming up. Probably means I should be doing 15, not 30. Because I'm changing tracks. Noisy train. It's an unfortunate field of view in this, because you have to look down to get your speeds and the like, but you need to look up to drive. Behind the yellow line, sir. Didn't get the front again. Is this bridge just floating in air? Looks like it's not connected to the concrete. Well, New York Texas Railroad says last night Long Island Railroad sent 4 M7s to the scrapyard due to being involved in a fire. That's sad. Was that vandalism or was it just an accident? And before I forget, here we go. We are allowed to do 80. We've got 1.63 miles to Hollis. Not quite the shot I was hoping for then. You watch the alerter go off while I'm not watching. What's that giant thing over there? Did we get there? Ah. Oh, it's the racetrack. Yeah, that's in some of the scenarios, isn't it? Fair enough. Kind of wondering what it was. Railroad crossing accident. These things will break pretty hard when you want them to. It's a little shop platform, so it doesn't really matter how much of my train hangs out front and back, because some people are going to be able to get out. No, made the front doors, all good. Welcome to Hollis. So it's quite an elevated... No, it's not that elevated, is it? Look higher on the other side. Next, we go off to Jamaica. Home of the steel drums. Here we go. I didn't ask a question. I said before that M3s are married or mated for life. One of them has had a divorce and is still in operation. Which one is it? "2 miles to Jamaica." Skipping the next station, obviously. "9932" says Dave Randall. That would be correct. And that one was a little bit hard to find, so you actually get 20 points for that one. I was thinking I could go slowly, but I was just looking at the estimated time of arrival, and it's putting us after when we're meant to be there, so I can't go slowly at all. Even though we're nearly there. Now I have to go slowly. I have no choice. Because I've been told by ATC, you must. All right, I will. They are a rail adhesion train, you're correct. Why would 9932 make Austin Powers really happy? Probably one more for the UK and the Aussies than the Americans. I don't know how popular Austin Powers was in America. If you even know who Austin Powers is. I had many things all going off all at once then. It's kind of amusing. As we approach into Jamaica. There's no real reason you couldn't have a rack railway, Mr. Coaster Coaster. You got it, Dave Randall. Lasers, baby. Stop speeding up, train. You're not allowed. Is that signal green? It is. It would be funnier if it was sharks with laser beams, Artful, yes. In fact, just because you gave me a funny answer, Artful, you're getting some points. Is 9932 still a self-propelled unit? Quite a bit of points in this one. Actually, no, I lie. There's not. It was a bit hard to find, though. Artful says no. I think Artful's correct. It's currently hauled around between a pair of MP15 diesels that belong to MTA. One of them is in pristine condition, And the other one's completely covered in graffiti from one end to the other. It's kind of funny that there's such a contrast between the two. But I've seen quite a number of videos over years where that's been the case, and they just seem to leave it that way. I wonder if the game will open both sides here. I know in TSW you're controlling the door side so you can open both, but I'm not sure about TSC. Nothing wrong with a guess. Did it open both sides? Nope, that one. No, it's only open one side. Alright, so TSC doesn't know how to open both sides of the train. Because here you really would open both. As we sit in Jamaica. How many stations have we got to go? Not many, I don't think. Woodside and New York. So I'd better ask a question while we're sitting here. The question is, what city... Now this is an interesting one. What city were the M3s made in? And I'm talking about made, not assembled. There's a distinction. We have a green here, 2 upright lights. We wind our way through the yard coming out of Jamaica. Artful says Cincinnati. It's an interesting guess, but no. I don't think so. Wouldn't be the first time the information I've got's actually not the only answer or not the correct answer. It does happen. Well done, New York, Texas Railroad. Philadelphia it was indeed. They were assembled in New York in the shops, but they were made in Philadelphia, and they were shipped over in singles, not pairs, and then assembled with their bogies and mated in New York. So any children that they made would be true New Yorkers. Quite like Philadelphia. I've only been there once, but it was a good experience. Excellent cheesesteak. In fact, those of you who are on my Discord would have seen the fact that I drove a GG1 there yesterday. Can't remember why I ended up doing it, but I went and bought the GG1 yesterday because I thought, I need that. It's got a good horn. Hard reckons we can do 20. Everything else reckons we can do 40. So we're going to do 40. Now here's a little bit of a hard one for you. You may struggle to find the answer to this one by Googling. It's a bit of an urban legend thing. How do they power M-Series cars when they're in the workshop? And this applies to the entire M-Series, not just 3s. As we wind our way to Woodside, 5 miles away. Not many more stops for this little one. I do believe we're underground. It's kind of funny. GTA Sandman says an onboard battery. Not quite. Does have batteries, but they don't use them to move the trains. Dave Randall says horses. Artful's gone with a small clockwork trolley. I do like your thinking. You lot are quite out there. I'm impressed. Just cutting off the power even though we're not quite at the speed because we are going downhill. She could probably go a little bit harder. Hello, goodbye. New York Texas Rail says overhead power cables, they connect them to the shoes. Yes, they do, but how? I'll give you half the points for that. Give me the other points if you figure out how. Halfway to Woodside. GTA Sandman said he missed half the question. I said, when they put the M3 units into the shops, how do they power them? And there's two more things I'm looking for in the answer. The classic New York water tower on top of the building. None of them are really in use anymore. Well, actually, most of them aren't in use, but often still there. There's a magnificent one in Brooklyn on the waterfront, right near the Brooklyn Bridge, which is all made of stained glass, and when the sun shines through it, it's really, really pretty. Hello, John 907i. Welcome. We are driving the M3 on the Long Island Railroad, and we're heading towards Woodside. Frankenstein Clamp says artful. Not quite. Do the words Red Hook help you? Thank you, John 907i. Try to keep it pretty simple.
What side next up?
Like the old trolley cars, yes. They actually use something from the old trolley cars. Does that give you enough of a clue? This is a very, very long station. Does anybody know what those things on the left-hand side of the train are for? Did I miss that someone said pole? Let me just scroll back. No one else actually mentioned poles, so guess what, GTA Sandman? It is actually the trolley poles. They're recycled trolley poles. They came from Red Hook. It's a bit of an urban legend though, so whether it's true or not I don't know, but I did find it on an employees forum from LIRR. I think that lady there wanted to get in our train, but she's missed out. Where is she actually coming from? They just disappear. Interesting. Oh well. Off we go. We have a yellow signal, so we won't exactly be hearing off out of here. Off to New York Penn, track number 16. It's always been interesting getting into Penn Station. Have a 40 indication. Don't know about you guys, but I think the skyline of New York looks a little short in this game. Current ETA has us about 30 seconds late. Be a little bit careful as we come down the hill here, or I will get penalised. Shaving the material off the top of the car. The M1 had automatic train operation, or ATO. The M3s are wired for it, but did they ever use it? And for bonus points, can anybody tell me the ATO urban legend? So we head in towards the city. Skyline is getting a little taller now, but still not particularly tall. And we're going to go underground in a moment anyway. We come flying in towards Penn Station. Now, it wasn't voltage, but the correct answer is no, so I'll accept your no. Does anybody know the urban legend? See, ATO is automatic train operation, and the M1s and the M2s did have it, but it was removed. And some say it was removed because of this urban legend. I found quite a few people talking about the urban legend, but I did not find anybody offering any actual proof that it ever happened. So the train would run automatically based on the ATC. The only thing the driver had to do was stop at stations. The urban legend is about a driver behaving badly. Pick up speed as we descend into the shaft. into the underground section of the railway. Going under the river. It's the East River, isn't it, this one? It's the Hudson. That must be no, the East River. Oops, going a bit quick. Being naughty. Train smacking me. There we go. Yeah, he didn't stop at any stations. You're right. He left Jamaica and he went to the end of the line without stopping anywhere. He wasn't supposed to stop anywhere. But what was he doing in the urban legend? He was doing something in particular, and it's not rude. While you're thinking about the urban legend, I'll ask the last question of the day. In the 1980s, when this train was built, some Long Island Railroad trains had a special purpose car put into the passenger trains. Who can tell me what it was? No, he wasn't driving blindfolded, Artful. Texas asks, do you know why the original Long Island Railroad logo is in a keystone? No, I don't. I would be very curious to learn that. We have a yellow signal here. No, he wasn't drinking. He wasn't facing the wrong direction. He wasn't watching at all, though, I'll give you that. No, it's not a male car, Artful. A lot of males congregated in it. Not many females went into it, from what I've managed to find. Got yellow signal. The bar car, very good. That is it exactly. New York Texas Railroad gets the points for the bar car. And that was actually worth 50 points, so well done. No, the urban legend guy wasn't blind, but he was doing something. He was doing something you'd find a little bit surprising. One of the other reasons that the ATO was taken away, if you were given a penalty when driving without using ATO, you could put the controller into the ATO position and then back into the run position, and you would override the penalty and you could keep driving too fast. That was one of the other reasons why it was disabled. So it's operated by the Pensy. That's cool. Maybe we'll jump into a GG1 and spend a couple of minutes in a GG1 after this before I sign off for the day. Why don't we do that? Now, the representation of Penn Station in TSC, I think, is a little bit wrong, because there's actually a fairly large yard between the tunnel exit and the station itself, and they don't seem to model that in the TSC version. They do in the TSW version. No, he wasn't getting it on with his assistant. He wasn't tickling the pickle, GTA said then. It's to do with baseball. This is the one station that they don't sound the horn at as they come in. You better hope these slip points are set to turn left, or we're about to crash into a train. There you go, GTA Sandman. He was actually watching the baseball on a TV. And we're coming into our final stop. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for riding with the MTA. Please collect your personal belongings and your children and take them with you. Anything left on the train will be shot by the police and or sold. He probably was artful. The thing named the World Series, which has who in it? Canada and Mexico. No one else. But yes, it's the World Series, apparently. I should stop here, because there's a 10-unit sign. Stop! Get off me train. Go away. Go on. Dick off. Go about your lives. Go to your jobs or home or whatever it is you're doing now. Oh, did I not turn off the marker lights all that time ago? I thought I did. Oh, no, but we restarted, didn't we? Oh, well. Leave them on now. Because the train's going to go the other way anyway, but I'm not driving it. You know, you never know, John 907i. That is entirely possible. Final destination reached. Oh, well. Good stuff. So I think Dave Randall probably has the most points from today with New York running a close second. So we'll see what that does to the leaderboard. I suspect, Dave, you're probably on top of the leaderboard now. You might have been last week. But I think we should... standard... We won't run all of one of these, but let's... which one is it? No. That one. Let's run a little bit of the Pennsylvanian. I'll only run about 15 minutes of this, and then I'll call it quits for today. Because I have to go across the road and help the bloke across the road with his tree and finish getting it down. Welcome to the GG1. I was talking with someone about it yesterday on my Discord. I can't actually remember who, but which is sad of me. And they kind of liked it. And I thought, yeah, why not? Now I've got to find the right switches. That one? And this one, I think. No, not that one. Now, interestingly, look, we've got pantograph up, right? Someone in the review said the pantograph switch doesn't work. But look, pantograph down. Pantograph up. Works fine. Someone else said in their review, the headlight doesn't work. Well, looks like it's on to me. So you can have different lights if you want. You put it back on, no, that one. No, now they're off. There we go. Okay. It's time to go, apparently. Better put the windscreen wiper on. Now wait for the horn. I reckon that sounds like a ship. Now, you don't need visibility out the window on this train, because you drive with the gauges. You don't even need to look, because it tells you what the signals are as well. I know why we aren't producing amps, because I haven't put it in forwards yet. There we go. Let's make some amps. There we go. It does sound like a substation, because it is. You've got to be pretty gentle with it, because it's so powerful it wheel slips really easily. And the people who say it's got no visibility, it's got about the same visibility as a steam engine, to be honest. And for such an old model, you can find the thing, you can open the window, Doesn't matter where you put it though, it looks like it's sort of half open, half closed. You do get a bit of a clipping thing going on, and you can't see the guy on the other side of you, even though he's there, because over this side, there is another guy, and if you look through, you can see yourself, but you can't turn to your head to the left and see him. You can't get further than that. And these are the different viewpoints. So you just can't do it. Life. There's no passenger view in these old cars. But you can still go in there. Let's go into F8. I'm going to try and get this right. Actually, it might be easier. What's what I do if I do this and then I go F8? We'll go back through all the passenger cars. There we go. But I saw someone commenting on the forums that it had such a small view that you couldn't possibly drive it safely, but that's probably more than you had on a steam engine. Or similar with some engines. It is a bizarre looking Loco British Ace, definitely. And John 907i, their old school cars are kind of good. It was actually one of the reasons I got it, because it gives me some more rolling stock to play with, because I get to use these. And if you completely ignore the speed limits, interestingly enough, this thing can actually make the Acela timetable. Because I did it last night. Well, you haven't quite got it, Metro. You'll get it on Thursday. You've pre-ordered. Yeah, it was about an era of passenger comfort. There's not much detail inside the Locos. But we did just see your keystone, so the Pennsylvania Railroad keystone. The Pensie's an interesting railroad. If there was a way to do it differently to everybody else, they found it and they did it. Bit of a slow corner here. This is a bit of an older route, so it does show its age a little bit. Hasn't quite got as much detail as the newer ones. Gratuitous bridge shot. Have to do it. Oh, it's two bridges. Bastards. Line this up better than last night. There we go. Now everything's straight. And I'm speeding. Oh no, whatever will I do? I think it's time to see how fast it'll go. What do you reckon? We're meant to stop at North Philadelphia Track 2, but we might still do that. Yeah, I know. We're speeding. Not for long. You know what? We're not speeding anymore. We are going to have to change tracks in a moment, so we'll actually have to slow down. And to know what your brakes are doing, you actually have to watch down the gauges down there. So I've got, what, looks like 20 pounds, maybe 30 pounds into the brake cylinders at the moment. Should be quite sufficient for braking. Far away from this station. 1.61 miles, but I think we have to change tracks. I think that's why it wanted me to slow down. There's a couple of these sitting in a forest. So let me just jump on to YouTube separately. See if I can find them. There they are. Hope that's not playing for you, but let me just chuck it in the chat. There's a video about a couple of them that are just sitting decaying. Have I gone through that station? No, I think it's coming up somewhere. Yep. I would have thought they'd be a little bit noisier on the outside, but I do like the inside. Danger, do not touch. Zzz. Yeah, if you touch that, the last thing you'll ever hear is zzz, and then everybody else will hear thud as your body hits the ground. Yeah, I think that's true. The art of driving a train was understanding your machine a lot more than it is today. Today they're all computer assisted. It helps people see if the cab light's on, because it's quite dark without the cab light, so I think it's better to have it on. But it doesn't seem to have gauge lights, and you can't really see what's what, so you kind of need to have it on. Although I haven't tried the I key. No, that just does the cab light. Now, actually, this train is so long that I actually have to take the locomotives through the platform. And even if I stop with just the first car in the platform, which is going to run over a little bit, the back car still won't be in the platform. So if I get this one halfway in, I think the one at the back will still be hanging out. Yeah, there's a couple at the back, so it's just way too long for the platform. So you just have to hope that people are smart enough to not get out back here where they just fall down there onto the other tracks. Watch that first step. It's a big one. My mic was off. Ah! Okay, I'll go back and answer all the questions. Yes, they ran Amtrak up until the mid-80s. And I don't know why we're in 110 zone, because we actually have to start braking for this 50 corner that's coming up. Dual GG1s. We're both slowing for this corner. Sorry about not having my mic on. There's a workshops pack that has this in a silver livery. And I saw one, its bell actually isn't very good. Where did the other one go? That's just, oh no, it's still coming. Bridge. I'll wait till the other one catches up to me before I accelerate. We can have some side-by-side running. Although he might be a stopping service because he's on the stopping track. We both have flashing yellows. Just waiting for him to catch up. And then we can try and have a race. I don't think I get any adverse signals, so it's probably okay to not have to watch too much. Is he actually catching up back there, or is he still going slowly? He's not trying very hard, but I think it is catching up. I'm just getting slower and slower here. No, he's not catching up anymore. He's getting further away. No, here he comes. He's found the fang button. We had a race in a moment. He's going to have a head start though. He's doing pretty well with his head start. We're reeling him in. Hello, Neil TV8. We're racing GG1s because we ran out of things to do with the M3. Now I'm speeding because I'm naughty. See you later, AI who doesn't want to speed. So if we look at my speedo now, it is pegged. I wonder how quickly we can get to Trenton. He's going to have to stop there anyway, so there's no point trying to continue the parallel run. We get to Acela speeds or we derail. These are our options. If we can get up to 125, I'll be happy. Surprised. Oh, we've got that corner coming up too. I may actually need to slow down for this corner. It's not as bad as the other one, but it's not good either. There's another one going the other way. With a caboose. You don't often see that anymore. 100 will be enough. We'll make the corner at 100. After we get through the corners, I'll have another crack at 125 Metro. Alright, we're through the corners. Let's go. Let's have another go at 125. Can we make it to 125 before we have to slow to 100? That's the question. Well, if I turn the game right up, you will actually hear notches. I wonder if you can hear them. I just hear them. Coming into the 100 part, ignoring it. We're working on 125 here. We want a seller speed. $120. Will we make it round the corner? We should probably watch the corners from the back, because if it's going to stack, it'll be the most spectacular from back here. I missed a gratuitous bridge shot. Terrible. We need a bit more downhill. Is that signal green? It was. Now on Northeast Corridor, deliver me some downhill. I want to do 125. Got more power to give, it just doesn't want to. Coming into some more corners. It's a good thing this is pre the era of GPS, or my passengers would all be ringing up 911 going, "Why is this guy going so fast?" We could cut the carriages loose, that would be interesting. Could do it. Oh, that's one of the scariest concepts in railroads, British Ace, or railways since English. The slip coach. If you don't know what a slip coach is, basically what an express would do as it was approaching a station, the guard would go back in the train and unhit one of the carriages, and there'd be another guard on there with a handbrake who would slow it down as it rolled into its station and stop it. It's just a seriously scary thing. We're maxed out at 120, and I think we're starting to go uphill now. As we head towards New York. I always like the way you can go through trains in TSC. They probably shouldn't have rung 911 Metro, because that's not an emergency. Being stuck on a train, it's just something to deal with. 8. Still pegged on 120. Don't know that we're going to get over 120 somehow. Oh yeah, absolutely. Slip coaches. Good plan. Imagine explaining that now to a modern occupational health and safety board. It's like, this is what we want to do and we think this is a really good idea. Mind you, there's another reason why the railways wouldn't do it, and it's the only reason they wouldn't do it, is you need a third person on every train. Do you know, Metro, that absolutely everywhere in the world you can dial 112? Doesn't matter where you are in the world, it'll work. From a mobile phone anyway, not from a land phone. In England it's 999, in Australia it's 000. Because, you know, we like being different. 80 corner. Let's watch from the back in case it's spectacular. It's looking good so far. Made it through that corner. There must be a worse one coming up if it's 80, though. Oh, that's because we're supposed to stop at Trenton. Well, we're not doing that, clearly. Do you know, if we're going to change tracks at Trenton, and I think we are, I reckon this train's doomed in about 30 seconds' time. I reckon it's going to have a big stack. Maybe we should watch from the other end. Because shortly it's going to change onto this outside track over on our left here. Will it actually succeed at 120 mile an hour? I think no. What? Nah. Oh, I know, we're in a building. We missed some of the action. That was fun. Flying GG1s. Yes, bring back the guard indeed, British Ace. Every train should have one. Be a good idea. Look at that carriage that's still rocking down there. It's still rocking around. We're on the rails, honest. We're okay. We're okay. See, most of these people probably didn't die. These people, oh no, they're all dead. Hey, that one just stood up again. How funny. It was lying on its side and now it's upright. That's so funny. And of course it's still powering, or trying to. They look good from this thing. Oh, look at that. Lovely highlight on the Pennsylvania Keystone. And I think that this is probably worth a bit of a screenshot. Look at the lady. You're in a train, love. Hate to tell you that, but you know, you're in the wheel. Don't care, do you? You're on your headphones. No idea what's going on around you. Oh, well. I think that's a convenient time to end this, but I think we should probably do a proper scenario or a proper run with the GG1 at some point. On Thursday night, we will have, and thank you for all the Fs, by the way. On Thursday night, we should have the new route Edinburgh to Glasgow with the class 385. Yep, can't tell you any more than that right now. And I'll run it again, so it'll be a fairly short stream on Thursday night for me. I'll do that at 9:30 p.m. Australian 9 p.m. 9:30, 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock Australian Eastern Daylight Time. And then I'll run it again at my usual time on the Sunday and give it a proper look on the Sunday. Thank you very much for watching, folks. And I'll schedule something for the GG1 in the future. Thanks, helps for coming in. Dave Randall's definitely the winner today. I have a faint suspicion he is on the top of the leaderboard now, but I will put the leaderboard out right now so I don't forget like a couple of weeks ago, because that was pretty terrible. So thanks very much to Metra, the British Ace, Electric Dark, Neil TV 8, GTA Sandman, Artful, John 907i. Who else have we got in here? Just scrolling through the list. Neil TV 8. I think I said you before anyway, but just want to make sure I don't miss you. And who else have we got? I think the others have probably dropped off by now, but New York Texas Railroad was here for quite a while. And we also had a couple more. Where are they? Dave Randall was in here. There was a bunch of people. Mr. Coaster. There was heaps of people. All right, thanks heaps for watching, folks. Hopefully you enjoyed yourselves. Hopefully you liked the epic stack at the end there, and I do love it. The game still hasn't figured it out. That's all good. All right, thanks, guys. See you later. Bye. Thanks for watching, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. I always like to get your feedback in the form of likes and comments because they help me understand what you want. Give the channel a subscribe and click on the tinkly things so you don't miss out on any new stuff. And thanks for your ongoing support. And please, be safe out there.